So some more OpenAI news that's been happening this week. OpenAI, like we teased in our last episode, has officially launched the GPT store. And this is available if you are a ChatGPT Plus, Team, or Enterprise user. The GPT store features GPTs that are built by different users and by OpenAI partners. Now, as a reminder, GPTs are customizable versions of ChatGPT that you can build yourself without any code. You can just use text prompts to build essentially a customized, narrowly focused version of ChatGPT that does various different things depending on what you'd like them to achieve. Now, OpenAI says that it will actually feature new GPTs each week in the store. And as of Friday, January 12th, when we're recording this, some of those featured GPTs included things like a GPT that helps you find hiking trails, a research assistant, a code tutor from Khan Academy, and a GPT that serves as an AI-powered guide to books you might want to read. So lots and lots of different use cases, not just within marketing or business. And OpenAI also teased a revenue sharing program coming sometime in Q1. And this will pay builders based on user engagement with their GPTs. That's all OpenAI is saying at the moment. They said they'll offer some more details on that program once it gets closer to launch. But right now, anyone with a Plus, Team, or Enterprise account with ChatGPT can log in, click Explore GPTs, and go right to the GPT store, which is pretty simple at the moment. And from there, you simply click on a GPT, something that interests you, and you can immediately start trying it out. You don't have to download anything or do anything else except click. And if you like it, you can simply choose to keep it in your sidebar to use all the time. So, Paul, I played around with this a little bit. What were your initial impressions of the GPT store as it stands, a couple days after launch?
I definitely think long term it's going to help with adoption and utilization. I think especially within ChatGPT team, like let's say instead of me just getting the 7 licenses and sending out emails saying, okay, everybody, we have this, we'll figure out the next 30 days what we're going to do. Let's say instead the rollout was I bought a license and maybe I got one for you and one for Tracy, our COO. We spent 30 days. We analyzed our top 5 use cases. We built custom GPTs for those specific use cases. And then we introduced it to the team with an education relative. Here's what a GPT is. Here are the 5 we've pre-built. These account for 80% of the use cases you're going to be looking at over the next 90 days. And like we actually showed them how to use the thing. So I think the custom GPTs is actually like the most interesting thing at the moment. That being said, OpenAI claims that and I would imagine they know, more than 3 million GPTs have been built since they first debuted it, like November, I think that was, end of November or something
Yeah.
like that, early December. So 3 million of them. When I go into the GPT store, just if you haven't been in there are a number of categories. There's top picks, which is curated by OpenAI. There's DALL-E, so all specific to image. There's a writing category, productivity, research and analysis, programming, education, and lifestyle. Because I was planning for AI for Writers Summit, I was like, oh, I'm just gonna see what's in the writer category. My initial reaction is, well, this is kind of a bunch of junk. Like it's hard to know what's valuable. I don't know if they're going to have a rating system, a star system. Like I don't know how they'll build this out, but it says by people. So there's the number 3 writing tool one is I buy prompts. That's like the maker of it. So it doesn't like give me immediate credibility, like a strong feeling of credibility. The number 5 tool is Humanizer Pro. This is the description. Writes text like a human, avoiding AI detection. This tool humanizes your content to bypass any AI detector. So I guess like any open marketplace, there's going to be good stuff and bad stuff. My quick scan of the top 10 in all of those categories is it's a lot of junk I would never probably click on, certainly never use. It gets into a trust thing of like, I don't even know what they get. Like when I put my data in, so let's say I pick a data analysis one and I drop in some data, it's going to give me an output, but like, does the creator have access to that data? Is it only OpenAI that has access to that
Mm.
data? I think it's only OpenAI, but I actually don't know. And this goes to that whole thing of education is critical. If you're going to give these tools to your people, they need to understand what it is they're doing. So I don't know, at a high level, I think it's going to be big. I've heard them say like maybe bigger than the Apple App Store, more influential, more important. I don't know, maybe. But I do think for users, GPTs is a great way for people to get value way faster than just staring at a blank, screen powered by GPT-4 and not knowing what to put in it or how to do it or how to structure a prompt. You can pre-structure the prompts. You can do all the background work for people. I think GPTs are going to be a critical part. And I know GPTs for OpenAI is actually just a prelude to AGI. Like this is, it's just a piece of the journey they're on to build smarter agents and things like that. So it's a big deal though.
So it sounds like there are definitely some things to keep in mind as you're approaching some of the listings in the GPT stores. So for marketers, business leaders, and people trying to look at this in a professional context, are there any concerns or considerations to keep in mind beyond kind of buyer beware?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can just waste a lot of time like
Mm.
playing around with these things. I really think that for a lot of people, like what GPTs do is they give non-developers the power to build things. And so if you just think about like the frameworks and processes that you use in your company, the use cases that are critical to the people, and you see GPTs more as a tool for you to formalize processes in a way like by basically building an app you couldn't build before. Mike and I have no ability to do coding, like to build apps. But now I think about all the frameworks we use in our company around our marketing strategy process, our writing process, how we do interviews and summarizations, like all these things we do, how we do brainstorming and run hackathons and run workshops. All of that can be formalized into GPTs, which right now it's a bunch of words on a page, or it's Excel charts that tell you what to do, or it's flow charts, or if this then that logic and things like that. We can put that into an app, and anybody in the company can now use it, or we can open it up to the public and say, here's how we do this. Like this will help you with your brainstorming. So I don't know. I mean, I think they're going to be great, but I also think there could be a lot of time wasted, like just playing around with the store and looking for
Right.
tools and playing with, like, I don't know, just based on my initial feeling, there needs to be way better curation, some sort of ranking system that tells you which apps are worth your time and which vendors are trustworthy.
This is such a big reason why in our workshops, in our content, in our speaking, we focus on use cases first before you even start getting into the details of different technologies. That's very important. But if you don't go in to these new tools, marketplaces, and ecosystems without a plan, it is very, very hard to efficiently and quickly enough start adopting this technology, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why I like saying, like, I think if I'm looking for a writing tool, for example, like go in there and look at the writing tools and see if there's something specific that helps. But you can get distracted really. It can definitely have the shiny object
Mm.
element to this where it's just like, oh wow, there's like thousands of these things and you're just playing around, to your point of like, yeah, but you just need something that's going to help you write a video script.
Right,
Has someone built something to help with video scripting? No? Okay, then go about your
right.
life and play around with that on a Saturday night sometime when you got nothing else to do.
So to wrap this topic up, I wanted to see if we might be able to give our audience a little inspiration. Do you have any thoughts on types of GPTs you'd be excited to see or kind of on your wish list moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I look at areas that are a weakness for me that are really important to the organization. So I think like data analysis. I know Code Interpreter, it was originally called. They changed the name to Advanced Data Analysis. Um, that is a tool that I know is in GPT-4 that I know I have access to, but I struggle to like really figure out what the best use cases are. I know I have a ton of data.
Mm.
Um, that it could help me with. So if there are some structured around that data and analysis where I could go and almost get some inspiration, like, oh, I didn't even think about that. I see it as like, I'll look at the key use cases we already have, but I'll look at the gaps in our ability. Like we don't have a data analyst on staff.
Right.
Can I find some GPTs that function in some ways like a data analyst? That would be huge for us. Like I would love that. So I'm going to look at like those kind of ways where common use cases that we already, could drive efficiency with, or gaps in our abilities that I would love to find a tool that, rather than going out and maybe hire an outside consultant, maybe I can use some GPTs to assist there.